Greetings. So I wanted to make a quick little kind of video or a play along. I don't have time to edit any of this, so it's only going to be pretty stream of consciousness. So I wanted to make a quick little video to give you all a little bit of a play along generally to what the goal is going to be for each of these excerpts. So please use this video, slow it down, speed it up as you see fit. And then otherwise I'm going to have a couple little words for each of the excerpts before I kind of let the play along go. And so if you've already seen this intro, just go ahead and skip. Oh, a word on the scales. No matter your fingering, as long as you have a tempo that is relatively close to the requested tempo of the pulse being 60 BPM, so whether it's the eighth note or the triplet, to make sure that that unit fits within 60 BPM. Really make sure that you're rehearsing the fingering that you've chosen, but also, as I've spoken with some of you before in my studio, to really get to know those upper positions, so that if you're existing up here in F major and just kind of noodling around in the key signature, that will help moving forward into the scale, so that then if anything happens, you kind of have your ear and hand trained to be comfortable, more comfortable up there than you would otherwise be. And this applies to both key signatures and scales and everything, really. Anytime you feel uncomfortable in an area, you just have to force yourself to be in that area until everything is comfortable. Now, speaking specifically about the overture to Gazza Ladra. Now, the speed is really the most important thing about this. This is what's going to give the bow the agency to do what we want it to do in this moment. So really, we're going to have to push the tempo up to at least quarter note equals maybe 145, or them given 150 to 152, because we need the bow to do it's the trickery, it's the kitchen trickery. We want the bow stick to be bouncing, but we want the hair to always be in contact. The technical name of this stroke is more of a sautille than it is a spiccato, but really be looking for that. Practice on open strings on the bow. Just see if you can get that stroke to occur. But the more that we force it, the more that it won't happen. So ironically, we just have to really let it go. So beyond that, 145 to 152 to the quarter note, but I want us to feel it a little bit more in one than the small beat, because I think that's going to give us the opportunity to let it sit in its own chair. So it'll help us not get bogged down on anything. Hopefully just keep it all nice and light. The L-E-G-G in the score, leggero, means light. So that shouldn't really be in the string. It'd be on the string, but it's not in the string like that. Of course, make sure that you're doing your fingerings in a maintenance practice right now, so that you're calling upon this in a mindless sense. The TV's on in the background, somebody's screaming, but you're able to just mindlessly get through the excerpt. Really, we're doing maintenance rehearsal now. So those are the main things. The speed is the key. We can't force the bow stroke to occur. Try to feel it in one instead of three. Look for some of these opportunities that we're going to have to be very unmusically physical, or physically unmusical, with our practice. We need to make sure that everything is really, really short. So if you slow it down in order to reinforce that, maybe we need to be doing something really, really short so that when we speed it up, it's not longer than we initially had it. So really, really look for those opportunities where unmusical feeling practice and physicality can actually give us the musical result that we're looking for. Other than that, just metronome. Metronome, feel it in one. Metronome, feel it in one. Give yourself some branching points, some jumping points with some of those breaths. So those half notes, not all the way to the bar. Some notes about Daphnes and Chloe. The struggle for me personally, even with this excerpt, is going to be making sure that we go slow enough or just keeping it in that realm of the eighth note equaling 84. I think when I play it, and even in this play along, I'm probably more at about 86, probably 87. So I'm kind of pushing it there, but of course the main thing is that you want to make sure that they're consistent. As soon as you set your tempo, if you're feeling the eighth notes, make sure that you are consistent all the way through that, okay? The biggest thing with this, it's not super challenging in terms of rhythm or the stroke. Now what I want us to really be focusing on, and I've said this to a couple of us, is focus on timbre, focus on sound or tone color, rather than literal dynamic, where it says pianissimo. I don't want you to be thinking about literally as quiet as you can play, but a soft sound, a soft timbre. Maybe it's a little bit warmer, it's not quite as bright. And then as these dynamic things shift around, as we move up to piano, maybe it's a little bit brighter, we're a little bit closer to the bridge, but really reserve and find those points that are like the theoretical fortes to let it really, really come out at that point, you know. So save it and then spend it. But always searching for timbre, you know. So, and the irony of this, another unmusical or paradoxical thing, is that on especially the very last note of the excerpt at measure 19, you're probably going to want to be right up on the bridge with a very, very slow bow in order for that piano to speak for that long of a time. So that's really going to be it for Daphnes and Chloe. There's not a lot to write home about. Make sure that you're consistent with time, and then always be thinking of tone color more than literal dynamic. Bye.